Hello there, Ray here. Today I will be going over all the different changes with 1.13 and enchanting. There is quite a few different stuff that has changed, and this list was compiled during all our testing that we did on our Twitch streams. The first change I would like to talk about is that it is now possible in 1.13 to enchant hose. As you can see, you can put the hose directly inside the enchanting table, and you get the choice of what type of enchantment you go into it. Now it don't matter which one you select, you're only going to be the unbreaking enchantment. So usually the lower ones will have like Unbreaking 1, and here's like Unbreaking 2, Unbreaking 3, that's as high as it goes. And then you can go ahead and enchant it. This is really nice, so if you are turning a lot of area over from being grass into having some cropland, then you can go through a lot of durability on your hose. Having enchanted with Unbreaking will allow you to be able to go through a lot more grass, since it'd be about 4 times as much as just having a normal hoe. It is possible to put the hoe in and have some enchantments show up with nothing. So here's one. It says with 4 levels, you can get Unbreaking 1. This one shows that you can spend 2 levels and get nothing. So let's enchant it. And if you try to click to enchant it, it won't work. So that is a possibility. It might be considered a bug, but pretty much overall, it doesn't matter what kind of hoe you put in here. They all pretty much act the same. So you can see this one's for 2 and 4. I'm really glad that they did add the enchanting to the hose, but for some reason, they did not add it to any other items. So like other items that you can put enchantments on. These are ones that you put like Unbreaking on, but you cannot put them in the enchanting table and get enchantments out of them. Now in 1.13, it's still possible to give these type of items enchantments through using an anvil, such as like putting Unbreaking on like carrots on a stick and other stuff that you can normally not put enchantments on. So another one of those weird items that you can put enchantments on is the pumpkins. You can put like Curse of Vanishing on them and get a pumpkin that has Curse of Vanishing, which is a pretty neat thing to have. It has a cool enchantment animation going on with it. Thing is, when you upgrade to 1.13, there's now 2 different types of pumpkins in the game. There's these ones that are called pumpkin with no faces. There's ones that are called carved pumpkins. So pretty much what you have is 2 different ones that came out of one. The way that works is that if you have your normal pumpkins 1.12, which look like this with the carving on them, and you keep them inside of a chest, they will end up looking like this when you upgrade to 1.13. They'll keep their carving on them. If you would take these pumpkins and you would place them down on the ground, and then you would upgrade to 1.13, they're going to remove their faces and they're going to turn into the normal pumpkins with no faces. This is because pretty much what it does is that it's searching your world for pumpkins on the ground, similar to ones they like generate, and say, hey, these ones generate in the wild, they should not have faces on them, so if they're sitting out here as a block, we will not put faces on them. So if you want to convert some of your ones with faces over to ones without faces, go ahead and place some of them on the ground, and then now you will have the new ones for 1.13. This also means that there's now 2 different types of pumpkins in the game, so when it goes to enchanting them, both of them don't actually enchant. But before, you could actually enchant up the carved pumpkins, which if you keep them over, they were going to turn into these type, which are carved pumpkins with the enchantments on them. If you go ahead and try to enchant them in this version, you see that's not possible. So they changed it, so now they think that this is the pumpkin, which it does say pumpkin, so it makes sense. And now you can take this pumpkin and you can put the enchantment on it, and now you will have a Curse of Vanishing Pumpkin. The thing is, if you would go ahead and have done this in 1.12, you would ended up with an enchanted pumpkin that had the carving face on it. So this means that pumpkins that you have enchanted in 1.12 with the carved face are now considered discontinued and no longer possible to get in 1.13. And now there are a new type of pumpkin to get enchanted, which are the normal pumpkins. So we can go ahead and we can click this if it had the levels. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you can also do this in creative. So if I go in creative and you do use the anvil, you're capable of putting any type of enchantment onto any type of item, pretty much. So here is the carved pumpkin, and we should not be able to put enchantments on it, yet we're able to. So pretty much having creative is not a good way to test and see if stuff can occur in survival, because it is override it. But you can see we could come in here and have like our enchanted pumpkin. This is pretty much what it looks like. Problem is, now with these type of normal pumpkins, you cannot put them on your face like you used to be able to do in 1.12. So you have this enchanted pumpkin, but you can't put it on your face. You can put it down, but it loses its enchantment. So if you do want to have an item that is discontinued in 1.13, go ahead and turn some of your normal pumpkins over into pumpkins that have the Curse of Vanishing enchantment on them. And then you can have these really cool looking ones for 1.13, and you can no longer get them in that version. Now in the past, it used to be possible to enchant a whole stack of pumpkins with one book. As you can see, you put one in there, shows up as having 4 enchantments, and you put more than one, it just says it's too expensive. Another change that is in 1.13, but not in 1.12, is if you go ahead and have an enchanted shield, like the one here, you can see that the enchantment actually shows up. It also shows up in-game when you're holding it. If you see my shield here, and I would hold it out, makes a nice glowing effect. 1.13 introduced new armor in the form of turtle shells, and these can be put on the head, and they have a +2 armor. And you can put these into enchanting tables, you can enchant them as well. the different types of enchantments they get. And yeah, it's very nice because they allow you to get the water breathing, plus they can give nice enchantments as other types of armor. This is a bit unlike having Elytra, which you can put some enchantments on. You cannot put as many on, such if you want to have protection, plus you want to have the cool effects, you can do that with turtle helmets. If you want to have like protection, you cannot do that with Elytras. Now, turtle shells are very similar to other types of helmets. See, these is a +2 armor. All these other ones also have +2. Your chain, gold, as well as your iron, and your helmet. When it comes to putting them enchanting, the enchantments you get out of them are exactly the same as if you put in an iron helmet. Now, this is not the same as if you put in a gold helmet. As you can see, these enchantments are different from ones that you would get from the turtle helmet. There are 4 new enchantments to go with 1.13. We got the Riptide, Channeling, Loyalty, as well as Impaling. The Loyalty enchantment goes up to level 3, and this is one that you can throw at stuff, and then it will actually make the trident return to you again. The higher the level of loyalty, the faster it will return. Riptide goes up to level 3 and allows you to zip through the water. It doesn't allow you to lose your trident, so if you throw it, you just get shot through the water. It gets this really cool animation. You can even use this to go up out of the water into the air, and if it's raining, you can go onto dry land, and you can also launch yourself up through the air just by using the rain. If you try to throw a Riptide enchanted trident on dry land, you're not able to. But oddly enough, it allows the trident to be pointing backwards. This is one's pointing backwards and it's Riptide. To release it, nothing happens. If I switch over to this one, which has different enchantment on it, I hold it, the install facing forward, and release it, let go. The channeling enchantment goes up to level 1, allows you to summon lightning if you hit an entity with it. This will launch it from your hand. So if I shoot at this turtle over here, you see that it will cause lightning to be summoned down and strike upon the turtle. This can be used to make charged creepers. You can actually have this strike upon any type of entity. So here I just struck this armor stand. Now keep in mind the channeling lightning that comes out of this trident will only apply to areas where there is entity on top of blocks that have a full top. So something like normal blocks or even like glass will work. If you would like throw a trident over here at this guy, see that no lightning will come down because there is some slabs. If you shoot him at like this guy over here, you see that the lightning will come down. Also notice the armor stand is removed because of the trident and not from the lightning. The paling enchantment goes up to level 5. This allows you to do more damage towards mobs that comes from the sea, which is like these squid. Another new item with 1.13 is the trident, which can also be placed into enchantment tables and enchanted up at different levels. You can get some pretty cool enchantments using enchanted tables. We got some loyalty, impaling, unbreaking on there, as well as riptide. Now, a cool thing about tridents is that it's possible to get a level 5 enchantment using the enchantment on the highest tier of that item. So it's impossible to get level 5 on any enchantment that is on diamond or anything else, such as like bows or like books, but it is possible for like gold items. The gold items aren't the highest of their tier, making the impaling enchantment the first of its kind. Tridents also have some enchantments which cannot be placed on the same trident. So if we go into Anvil, we can illustrate this. So stuff like Riptide cannot be placed with some other enchantments. The Riptide cannot be placed with like Loyalty. These two books won't combine. And it also won't combine with Channeling. So you cannot put both these type of enchantments onto a trident since they don't combine. It is possible to go ahead and put Loyalty as well as Channeling, as you see these books will combine. Despite this trident having enchantments on it, and this one not, there is no visual indication that one has enchantments and the other one does not. Now, it is still possible in 1.13 to do enchantment cracking. Now, this is a really cool thing that Earth Computer discovered, and we showed as a April Fool's video, although our April Fool's video was actually real, which is kind of funny. This allows you to be able to put enchantments into the enchanting table and choose specifically what enchantments you want to have on it and which ones you don't. It allows you to get really cool and almost impossible sets of enchantments all on a single item with one enchantment. The way that works is that you come in here and you place stuff in and you can see these numbers. And then you can use those numbers to determine what exactly the game is doing. And then by doing that, you can predict what will come ahead and you can manipulate by throwing items out of your inventory. This is really cool and I highly recommend you check out the video that we did, as well as Earth Computer, which goes into way more in depth how this exactly works by manipulating the RNG of the game. Now this has all been updated for 1.13, so now the tridents will work in it, as well as you can choose the different types of enchantments you want to go with tridents. Now in an older video I showed it was possible to make so-called impossible names, which are names that don't have any symbols, and this was done by putting items into the enchanting table and coming in here and using such codes as like the one here, which allow you to paste in certain stuff. And then this would give you a item that had no name showing up. Now, obviously, the same symbol that I used in the past, as you can see, is visible. And actually what these are no width spaces. This is like a space that has no width, and there's like a jointer or non-jointer, right mark and left mark. And you can get these from like any symbol website, which I will link down in the description. And you could pretty much get these things and then paste them in, and they would have no space or show up as nothing at all. For 1.13, they pretty much changed the way that text shows up. There's a lot more things that can show up in the text box, and you can actually name your items quite a bit more names now with 1.13. So you do lose this ability to make those really cool things. You still could come in and make names that have really small digits, like little teeny periods and stuff like that. They look kind of cool. But you can't go with the ones that are just solid, clear, nothing, no text in it whatsoever. But you can take advantage of this new change and you can come in with like some new symbols. Here I got one that has a watch symbol. So there's like pros and cons with the update. This does mean that probably your swords that had those old symbols, if you upgrade them to 1.13, they would swap out so you could see them. Now, if anybody's able to find some similar symbols that you could put into here that look quite small, or maybe just some really unique ones, sure, tell me down in the comments. I'd love to see those. A lot of little changes to do with 1.13 and enchanting. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you found this interesting, show me to like, share this with others. If you'd like to see more stuff like this for 1.13 and beyond, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell button to get notifications. If you guys know of anything cool in 1.13, sure tell me down in the comments. Bye!